Don't take it out on each other out there, please. Where is, guys, stand up with my car, your name, Caesar, Austin, Richard, Greg, the other Richard, I'm sorry, bud, the other Richard Efferfield, Greg and Scott, I don't know if Scott's here. Guys, all of you guys, thank these guys, because when there was tons of snow on all these buses, these dudes came in on their day off, and they cleaned every single bus, and they looked like there was no snow here. I mean, there was tons of snow, and there's tons of pictures if you guys want to see them, but these guys out there, and it was freezing, and I was here, I was inside. These guys were out there, and they cleaned every single bus, guys. And it was I was supervising for I had a radio. I had a radio, I was watching cameras.
Somebody
That's right.
do it, right?
And
So I said that rain, that how you knew it was cold outside?
yes, I went out for a second, I was like, "Ah." So, we were talking about, go ahead.
Going back to the cleaning of buses, if you guys need a bucket of Simple Green or something to mop your bus down, because some of them are getting really dirty right now, you know, let us know or something, because we can maybe sit one out for you. There's mops, there's a few mops. I mean, I know right now it's really cold and it is hard to get in there, but when it starts warming up, you know, it's easier to get in and clean it, so.
July or August.
Maybe.
It'll just help you near the end of the year.
So, this is for both paras and drivers. Guys, we had an incident a couple of days ago. Stay on your buses. It's not that, now, the incident I'm talking about, I'm not gonna get into it, but the incident I'm talking about, we had a para get off the bus. I would have done the exact same thing, all right? So they didn't do anything wrong. The problem that we have is if you get off your bus and you go too far away from your bus, the school can't cover you. So if there's a problem with a kid that gets off your bus, or another kid that's waiting there to yell at you, or yell at the driver, yell at the kid on your bus, and you're like, hey, what you doing? You get off the bus, you go too far away from the camera, I can't hear you. And I watch this incident, I can't hear what's going on. So, would I have done the exact same thing? Absolutely I would have. Is it the right thing to do? I don't know. But the school cannot take care of you if you're too far away and I don't hear what's going on, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because then you got a kid saying, you know what they told me? Your employee told me, blah, 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 blah. They're gonna kill me, come back tonight and, you know? It's your word against their word, you know? So please, just stay on your bus. If you wanna step at the door and if your bus driving off, give them the whatever, don't do that. Don't do that. Guys, had a parent calling yesterday. Our favorite intersection, 45th and 119, right? Kids crossing the intersections on the crosswalk. So, they called in a driver, I checked it out, everything was fine. The only thing we ask, and this is going a little bit above and beyond, but I think it's the best thing to do and it's safe, is if you have kids in the crosswalk and you're turning from the high school in the mornings, turning from the high school going to the Mays Intermediate, let the kids get all the way across, even if it's north-southbound traffic. The kids are walking in front of them and you're trying to go north, right? Let the kids get all the way to the other side before you come in there, into that intersection, please. And what I did was I timed it, I watched the video and I timed it. It's 7 more seconds. That's all it was. For these kids to go halfway, all the way to reach the other side, it's 7 seconds. Which means that you lost 7 seconds to hurry up and get in line at MIS. And you just sit there for another 10 minutes, so it doesn't make any sense. Please don't do that. Trying to catch myself here. One of the last things that I'm going to talk about, because this really, really, really does not make me happy. I wasn't going to use the word I'm going to use, but I'm going to say it's not make me happy. Don't alter your buses in any way, okay? So if you're looking at me with weird googly eyes, I'm not talking about you. But from now on, nobody do it. So, you know, people are really smart here and they don't get around to certain things on buses. I don't want doors locked that are not supposed to be locked, no matter what. I don't care if your bus has a 3-inch gap and the wind blows through or the alarm's going off all the time. And you say, well, you know what, if I do this, it'll turn off or it'll stay off. Man, don't alter your buses whatsoever. And, you know, I won't mention names, I want to talk about it, I'm not going to mention names, but we have a bus that has an extra latch. And it's on the back, so the latch is locked, right? Aside from the emergency door, there's a latch and the latch is locked. So, common sense tells you what? Worst case scenario, what happens? You have an accident, driver's out, carer's out, right? You got kids in wheelchairs, or just kids, little kids, right? And there's no adults in there, and the bus, you know, of course, 0.001% chance of this happening, but it can, and it has. And there's nobody there to get these kids off the bus. Firemen show up, civilians show up. They remember the little kids, go to the emergency back door, they open it up, guess what? Can't open it, right? Common sense? So don't mess with these things, please.
Why does that have an extra latch on it?
Probably all of it, it's called a vandal lock system, and it's only there if you go on a trip and you wanna lock your bus up, no kids, nobody's on board, you wanna lock it up, it's somewhere away from the district overnight.
Okay.
That's the only reason that ever's supposed to be locked, and it keeps the bus from starting also. It's supposed to, if it's working properly, it keeps from starting. But yeah, you're not ever supposed to lock that at all when kids, it's, yeah, illegal. Like-
And really, really smart people, because there is really, really smart people here, they figured a workaround.
Wow.
So don't do it anymore, please. Because if Kathy lets me, I'll get rid of you.
You'll be fired. I'll tell you that right now. It's illegal. It's illegal. And you just put everybody on that bus. I don't know who did it. I don't care who did it. But if I find out who did it, I'll fire you. Because you just killed everybody on your bus if something happens. And you put us all in danger. And you put your kid. I'm not going to put up with that. You'll be gone. Don't want that. Don't put your kids in danger. Yes, sir.
Also, when we were getting on the buses, I noticed a few of the the hazard triangles are loose on the bus, and they really shouldn't be, because that's, well, they shouldn't be, because if there's an accident that, like you said, rolls around and hits a kid. So they need to write it up and get that thing attached to the bus.
Yep.
So,
So for those of you who hear, he said apparently somebody's got some triangles that are loose. If you do, write it up and let the guys fix it. If you're in a rollover accident, you got projectiles everywhere. Get it fastened down. Write
it
it up.
takes 5 to 10 minutes just to attach it.
Yep.
Really.
And guys, last thing I got is, I've gotten so used to being yelled at by parents and by drivers and by principals that I had a hard head before, now it's calloused over. And I can make those calls, I'll continue to make those calls for you guys. So if you got problems, bring them to me. Bring them to me and I'll take care of them. The last thing I got is, how I always end every time I get to talk, is we have 235 write-ups just from you guys, from the drivers. I appreciate you guys doing that. I mean, we've been having some really big problems. Guys, I don't ignore you, trust me. There's a long process sometimes, how to get kids off your buses, and if you come to me, I'll explain it to you. But, well, I don't care if you talk behind my back or not, it doesn't matter. But there is a process to get these kids off your bus. We just, off of Magnus bus, we just took a kid off of there because he's just not worthy of riding that bus. You know, and they, Magda and Oscar have tried everything to help this kid, and he just doesn't want the help. So we took him off. Okay, so we're finding something else for that kid to do. So if you run into problems like that, let me know. So we have 235 write-ups and 68 suspensions so far this year off the buses. So anything comes up, please let me know. All right? Thank you.
Especially for those of you that are newer and don't know me very well, I am not a mean person. I have been told multiple times by the gentleman in our office I'm not mean enough. But you put any of our kids in danger or any of our fellow coworkers, and you're done. I'm not. That is the ultimate sacrifice. I'm not gonna let you put anybody in danger, so, I may be a softie, but the second you put anybody in danger, you're out, cause that's just, I cannot do that, we never put it on our conscience, so. Office, I've been getting tons of emails from Rocky, you guys don't see it, and other stuff happens later in the email, so I can't necessarily share all that with you. Not that they're saying anything bad, but things like this is what I'm getting from her. They are so impressed with you guys and everything that you do for the district and the lengths that you go and the crap you put up with it, quite frankly. So Rocky really, really, really appreciates you guys. And I need to learn to forward her messages before I reply, and we started chaining, because I am not a computer guru and I don't know how to just do the top one. I've tried to forward things before and they get the entire conversation. Okay, I'm sorry. So, do know that Darren and Rocky and them have praised you guys over and over and over again, that you do a lot of stuff that they would never, ever, ever do. Rocky's our superintendent. So Darren is our assistant superintendent, one of 6, one of a lot. Who's Dr. what? That's Rocky. Everybody calls her Rocky. What's her first name? Raquel is her legal name, but everybody calls her Rocky. Sorry. Dr. Greer. She's still here. Okay, sweet. Okay. Joy's already went. Joy, do you have anything else you thought of since then?
No, if you want to talk to him about shuttles, if they want to look at their shuttles, and we can make sure we've got all the shuttles covered,
Okay.
and then you can put that whiteboard outside of town, my office, make sure there are shuttles.
So we're not gonna, if you drive a shuttle, you can come talk. If you drive a shuttle that is not a regular route, and I'm talking if you don't drive, if it's a route that's not 6 to 9 and 2 to 5, please come see us. Either come see Joy, me, or Tammy. Chris has so much going on, we're trying to help with all the shuttle stuff. And holy crap, there's a lot of it. So we have more shuttles than we have routes. It is awful, it is insane. So if you run a shuttle, so what has happened is we assigned everything at the beginning of the year. And we put it all on paper, put it all in the program, and then things have changed. And not that things ever happen and we have to immediately change it, you know, within the next 30 seconds. That never happens around here. For some reason, some things just don't get changed like they should in the system or on our paperwork. So some of you are so far off in left field on what you're doing, no fault of your own, but we haven't written it down or we haven't updated something, or we forgot to write it down. We're human. We need, now that we're into a new year, WSU's starting to kick back in. We've got tons of those shuttles. We've got lots of shuttles running back and forth between the schools. New semester, so you guys have got new kids and you've got different shuttles a little bit here and there. If you are running something that is not a regular route, if you know what I'm talking about, please come see one of us. Don't say, oh, you already know. Don't think I already know it. Because so much has changed since Christmas break. I want to make sure we have you all down. Because we have right now, people call in and go, well, so-and-so's not riding the bus, and we pull it up, and we're like, oh yeah, they're on Michelle's, and Michelle's like, I haven't had them for 3 months. And I'm like, I thought they were riding on your shuttle. Nope, they're now moved over to hers, and we just forgot to write it down or something. So just help us get it back into track and let us know.
Does that include ECC?
No, ECC, I think you've got that. Those routes are all okay, so ECC is not included that. It would be any of the other shuttles,
Also, when you do your maps, go on there, put your shuttles in your maps,
please.
so we know that you guys have shuttles.
You're talking about for regular bus drivers then?
For regular,
Yep.
like how Greg, so Greg,
For the bus
Greg
driver.
runs a shuttle, he puts the little paper in there saying, you know, this is the shuttle, or like Amy has a shuttle, you know, between her routes from ECC to Vermillion, like put those in your maps.
So do I need to get that from the driver who's driving my bus in the middle of the day?
Oh, no, because it's in his map
It should
book.
be his.
Oh.
It needs to be for the
Yeah, one of mine
person,
is-
not for the
Oh,
bus,
okay.
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, it's for the person. Yeah, yes, sir.
What's your preference, Michelle?
Okay, but that
Same
was-
book, so we only gotta track one, or a separate folder?
Only if it's 2 buses.
What?
Only if it's 2 buses. If it's the same bus, like
Right.
if you're in your own bus and you're
Well,
doing
yeah,
this,
one bus
this,
all say, just put it, yeah,
one
okay.
folder.
Yeah, cause that way we only gotta track one.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you coming back? I meant, are you coming here? Do you need to,
No.
Never mind. I skipped Ron, sorry. I don't know if I didn't see it pop up. It's your turn.
Yeah, the only thing I was gonna address, is what I already talked to Chris about, was make sure you put the proper fuel in your vehicle. Because
it can damage that vehicle. You'd have to get really creative to put diesel in an unleaded, because the nozzle is so big it won't even fit in it. You'd have to, I don't know, get a. But unleaded will fit into a diesel very easily. And the weird thing is, unleaded will damage a diesel more than diesel would damage an unleaded vehicle, which is weird. I don't know why they do it that way, but yeah, just be careful, because you can really do some damage to the after treatment system on a diesel. That's a $10,000 exhaust system under there, so be careful.
Diesel really won't hurt a gas engine.
It'll make it smoke a lot.
If it's not too thick, it'll smoke a lot, yeah.
And it can make it splatter. It's not meant to.
Right,
It's not meant to be in it, but it's less likely to do damage.
Right.
So why they make the nozzles that way, I don't know. They should have made it this.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Any questions? That's all I really had. Any other questions for fleet maintenance? Anything?
In the morning times, when you go to get in your bus, do not turn all your lights on before starting your bus. Because that, coupled with the cold temps, will put a lot more strain on those batteries and may not get your bus started or wear it down to where if it would have started before, it's not going to start now because it's sucking that juice to keep the lights going. There's been like 3 occurrences of this. So let's try to remember that in the morning time. Oh, and then shut your disconnects off and plug your buses in over the weekend.
Do that tonight, yeah, good call.
Yes.
If you didn't hear on the radio, make sure you plug your buses in before you leave today. It's not gonna get much warmer, so make sure you plug them in. They have changed the island. It used to be set on a timer. It would come on at like 2 or 3 in the morning. If it dropped below 40, it's right now set that if it drops below 40, it's just on. So that way we don't have to mess with it, because it was affecting our activity driver buses. Because if they come in at, I don't know, about crack of dawn and the bus has only been on for an hour, it's not warm enough. So they have it set on all the time. Chris is working on getting plug-ins, I think, with lights on them, so it's easier to see that the power is there. So let us know if you see anything different. Several poles are on one breaker. I don't know exactly what the grid looks like, but you can have an entire row, corner of buses out, and the rest of them will all be fine. So just make sure let us know if your bus doesn't start over very easily, if it acts like it's cold.
You can also look on the actual one, they've all got GFCI. Mine tripped.
Oh, yeah,
And
good point.
the light, I happened to notice the bus next to me, the light was out my horn. So I lifted it up, sure enough, I had to do some putting it back in.
Yeah.
That's when you leave the plug in the ground and moisture gets in.
Yes.
It trips.
There's the thank you I had for our starting team, that Caesar, Gray, and Austin. And this is what the buses looked like when they came in on Tuesday morning. We have seen worse, but it was cold. So this is what it looked like prior. You guys that walked down that in the morning, you knew what it looked like there, because our maintenance crew hadn't got over here before they started tromping up and down and starting all the buses. So they had to chisel that all out, but it looked great. They got it all sanded. Brian and Mike, they went out and shoveled out front for us. So thanks a ton to that entire crew, because they were nasty. Something else to remember tonight, you know that storm's coming, you know there's going to be a ton of snow, you know there's going to be a ton of wind. When you shut that door, if you haven't lashed it shut or clamped it, wind is going to pull it open and it is going to give you a whole bunch of snow. Is that yours?
That is my bus. Somebody took my clamp. I didn't have a clamp.
Well, it might have been this guy that left it on his dash. Just make sure tonight when you leave, plug your bus in and clamp that door shut, because you know it's coming. And anytime you know it's coming, clamp that door, because when you come in and the wind's been blowing and the snow's been going, you're going to come into a snowball in your bus. And you don't want this melting and going down inside your bus. So just make sure you get that clamp on there. That's all. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
If you need a clamp, let one of the lock crew know, or let me know. We've got a bunch of clamps. They're in the storage room, so if you're missing one, get with somebody in the office.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for all you do. Have a great day. Stay warm this weekend. Hopefully I'll call you Monday. Text you Monday.
Hey, now.